Different forms of energy. Forms of energy. Energy comes in 6 forms. Electrical energy, radiant energy, thermal energy, sound energy, chemical energy, and nuclear energy. The 6 forms of energy are all related. Each form can be converted or changed into the other forms. For example, when food burns, its chemical energy changes into thermal or heat energy and radiant or light energy. Electrical energy. It is the energy carried by moving electrons in an electric conductor. It cannot be seen, but it is one of our most useful forms of energy because it is relatively easy to transmit and use. All matter consists of atoms, and every atom contains one or more, which are always moving. When electrons are forced along a path in a conducting substance, such as a wire, the result is energy called electricity. Example of electrical energy. Lightning is one of good example of electrical energy in nature, so powerful that is not confined to a wire. Thunderclouds build up large amount of electrical energy. This is called static electricity. They are released during lightning when the clouds strikes against each other. Radiant energy. Atoms absorb energy from an outside source and release or emit this energy as electromagnetic radiation. This radiation can be in the form of waves or many different wavelengths or frequencies. Many energy sources emit radiant energy. The sun and the other stars are light-giving objects that produce radiant energy from nuclear reactions. Luminescence may result from biological processes, from chemical reactions like burning kerosene in a lamp, from friction, or from electricity in a light, as in a light bulb. Example of radiant energy. A surface heated by the sun converts the energy of the light into infrared energy, which is a form of radiant energy. Thermal energy is the energy of a substance or system as relative to its temperature, the energy of moving or vibrating molecules. Atoms and molecules, the smallest particles of any substance, are always in motion. The motion of thermal energy is usually not visible, but we can feel or see its effects. We use thermal energy to cook our food and heat our homes, and we use it to generate electricity. Thermal energy is not the same as heat. Heat is energy transferred between substance or system due to a temperature difference between them. So it's correct to say that a system contains thermal energy but not it contains heat, since heat means energy that is transferred from one thing to another. Example of thermal energy. When you heat up a pan of water, the heat from the stove causes the molecules in the pan to vibrate faster, causing the pan to heat up. The heat from the pan causes water molecules to move faster and heat up. So, when you heat something up, you are just making its molecules move faster. Sound energy. Forms of energy associated with the vibration or disturbance of matter. Sound is mechanical wave that as such requires a medium to travel through. The sound energy in the volume of interest is defined as the sum of the potential and kinetic energy densities integrated over that volume. Example of sound energy: computer mouse clicking, an airplane taking off. Chemical energy. Energy stored in the bonds between atoms and molecules is chemical energy. In photosynthesis, plants take a radiant energy from sunlight. This solar energy is stored in complex chemical compounds such as starches and sugars. The stored energy is released when these compounds break down into simpler compounds. Many energy sources commonly used in humans are forms of chemical energy. They are usually labeled fuels. The way to use of the chemical energy in most fuels by burning them, as we do with wood, natural gas, gasoline, coal, and others. When these fuels burn, they give off heat because the chemical reaction called combustion is an exothermic reaction. That is, the reaction releases thermal energy in the form of heat. Example of chemical energy wood is wood burning. Nuclear energy usually means the part of the energy of an atomic nucleus which can be released by fusion or fission or radioactive decay. A release of nuclear reaction occurs when the nuclei of atoms are changed. Hydrogen and uranium are two kinds of matter used to produce nuclear energy. In a nuclear reaction, the tremendous bending energy inside a hydrogen or uranium nucleus is released. Nuclear energy is released during atomic fission. When uranium nuclei are split, they are also released during fusion when hydrogen nuclei combine to form a helium nucleus. In fission or fusion, nuclear energy produces thermal energy which is given off as heat. Fission heat is used to generate electric power in hundreds of locations worldwide. The sun and the other stars are fusion to generate radiant and thermal energy. As stars gave off energy, they lose mass. Someday, humans may be able to harness nuclear fusion as well. Nuclear energy has other uses. In medicine, it is used in radiation therapy to treat cancer. The U.S. Navy uses nuclear energy to power some submarines and large ships. They can stay at sea for long person without stopping the refuel because their nuclear fuel takes up little space. Nuclear energy causes burning heat being transferred. Sources of energy, renewable and non-renewable energy. Renewable is defined as energy that comes from resources which are natural replenish on a human timescale such as sunlight, wind, rain, tides, waves, and geothermal heat. Replaces conventional fuels in four distinct areas: electricity generation, hot water, space heating, motor fuels, and rural energy services. Resources exist over wide geographical areas in contrast to other energy sources which are concentrated in limited number of countries. Rapid deployment of renewable energy and energy efficiency is resulting in significant energy security, climate change mitigation, and economic benefits. In international public opinion surveys, there is strong support for promoting renewable sources such as solar power and wind power. Example of renewable energy. Natural resources called renewable are replaced by natural processes and forces persistent in the natural environment. There are intermittent and reoccurring renewables, the recyclable materials which are utilized during the cycle across a certain amount of time and can be harnessed for any number of cycles. The natural environment with oil, waters, forests, plants, and animals are all renewable resources as long as they are adequately monitored, protected, and conserved. Sustainable agriculture is the cultivation of plant materials in a manner that preserves plant and animals ecosystems over the long term. Example of renewable energy. Non-renewable energy is a source that does not renew itself at a sufficient rate for sustainable economic extraction in meaningful human time frames. Example of non-renewable energy. Coal mining. The law of conservation of energy. Conservation of energy, the fundamental principle of physics that our total energy of an isolated system is constant despite internal changes. We have often heard phrases like conserve energy, turn off the lights. To scientists, conservation of energy is something entirely different. The law of conservation of energy states that the total amount of energy in a system remains constant, although energy within the system can be changed from one form to another and transferred from one object to another. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be transformed. That's really what we mean when we say we are using energy. The law of conservation of energy means that when energy is being used, it is not being used up. Instead, it's being changed from one form into another. A car engine burns fuel, converting the fuel's chemical into mechanical energy to make the car move. Windmills change the wind energy into mechanical energy to turn turbines, which then produce electricity. Solar cells change sunlight into electrical energy. Energy may change form many times on its way to doing work in your home, such as toasting bread. In the process, some energy is converted into unwanted thermal energy or heat. In fact, it is possible to convert one form of energy into another without wasting some energy. In many energy conversions, more energy is wasted than is used for work. For example, automobile engines typically waste more than 2/3 of the total energy used primarily through heat. On the other hand, electrical motors convert electrical energy into mechanical energy with only about 10% of the energy wasted via heat. Energy efficiency means converting energy from one form to another with the least possible waste. Law of nature is called the law of conservation of energy. Example of law of conservation. Law of conservation of mass states that matter can never be created nor destroyed, only its form can be changed. Example, when you react two molecules of hydrogen gas with one molecule of oxygen gas, you will get two molecules of water. No matter has been destroyed.